Russian forces circling the city. Now, as you have been hearing, many big Western brands have pulled out of Russia completely, or they are reducing operations since the invasion of Ukraine. Consumer giants including McDonald's, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, Starbucks have just joined the growing list of firms halting business in Russia in response to public opinion. And now many are considering the impact this could have on their brands. Well, let's talk this through with Linzi Boyd, founder of One Earth Global. Hello to you, Linzi. Now,
hello.
McDonald's, many would argue, Starbucks, KFC, Yum Brands, they were pretty slow in reaction to all of this. Talk us through what was at stake for them. They have a huge presence in Russia, don't they?
Look, it's a huge thing for people to be pulling out of anywhere, but actually the fact is that brands have to look at this and the public demand, and they live by their customer, by the consumer at the end of the day. And at this stage, brands need to lead with a human response. They have to choose humanity over monetary gain. And there's no choice, really, in my opinion. A brand is led by what the consumer demands, and the consumer demands that they want to see them choose humanity.
Yeah, I mean, it depends where that consumer is, of course. I mean, for the consumers of Russia, when the golden arches arrived, it was a marker at the end of the Cold War. There were queues for miles to buy burgers from McDonald's in Moscow. But interestingly, I noticed McDonald's, it's closing its operations there, but still paying its staff. So each different organisation, depending on what they do and how they operate in Russia, is depending on their response.
The thing with that is that, and it was interesting because it's only recently that Starbucks and McDonald's have just closed themselves, and they were saying that they didn't have any control over the franchises that were on the ground. But the reality is that, of course, any global brand has control over a franchise when it comes to something extreme like this. So the best thing that they can do is really look after the staff when they are closing the businesses down, because at the end of the day, they need to support the staff that's working with them. And then at some stage, hopefully, businesses will open up again.
Yeah, I mean, they employ, hundreds of thousands of people in Russia, the McDonald's brand and the franchises, as you say. But interesting how the tech companies were very, very quick to respond, the likes of Apple, Netflix and others. But it just highlights the difference in business and how they operate, doesn't it? Because the impact of McDonald's, Starbucks, Coca-Cola is greater, would you argue, or not?
I would, but at the end of the day, these tech companies don't really have bricks and mortar, do they? So they don't have people on the ground with staff. It is easier for them. I'm not saying it's easy for anybody to close their businesses down, but it's easier for people to pull out of a country when you don't have people on the ground and you're not having to pay for people in that way. So I do understand why the bricks and mortar companies take slightly longer than a tech company, because it's just a completely different business model.
It certainly is. It certainly is. And just very quickly, one more thought. Oh, no, I'm told I haven't got time. Sorry, Linzi. I wanted to get your take on the impact on brand reputation, but that's a conversation for another day. Thank you, Linzi, so much for getting up so early. Sorry, we have to move on. Now, we are most creative